Howdy folks, Zapper here, aka Sean. It's turn 13, and well, you know what? The pendulum has swung. I think the Soviets may have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Um, but I don't want to call it yet because you never know. So the Americans won the initiative. Um, so they had, you can see that there's a flaming wreckage marker here. So they had a fire marker and they were focusing on these infantry right here, right? This is the way I look at it is, you know, if you've got infantry crawling all over your tank, you're going to be trying to kill that infantry rather than target these tanks here. So they targeted the infantry. They were unsuccessful in doing anything to the infantry. This Bradley here fired at that tank, and it was a miss. They had a 77% chance. I rolled like a 90 something. So it's, again, ridiculous the amount of high rolls that I roll with these dice. They might be loaded or something. Who knows? So that was the American. They fired with two different things. You can see that this tank's got a movement token. He's probably going to move back here. So the Soviet response, this tank fires, hits the Bradley, and I think it, yeah, knocked it out. And then one of these two T-72s fired at the M1. Now, at point blank range, they have a penetration value of 108. We got a hull front hit, and it was a falling shot, so the armor value for an M1 tank on the hull front is only 95. So that gun, once you get in close, we got lucky. Had it been a turret front shot, actually, you know what? Look at that. Turret front falling shot would have been, let me get my fingers out of the way. So a turret front falling shot would have been good too. So the elevation, the fact that they're on higher elevation is what gave me advantage. Yeah, that was the only reason that they were able to penetrate, because a level shot wouldn't have penetrated the turret front. It would have penetrated the hull. So we got lucky. The Soviets got lucky in the fact that they got a hull shot and they were from an elevated position. So took that tank out. So there's one tank left. So basically all I need to do is the movement, and turn 13 will be pretty much done. If I end up taking that tank out right there, I probably, most likely, if I take that tank out and probably that fist, if I take those two things out, I will probably end the game, because we're just going to have some infantry. The Soviets will be able to, because all these town hexes here, they are, stupid commercials on the radio are so much louder than the music. All these town hexes are victory points. So, I mean, there's really not much standing in the way. So there's one squad here. There's one squad here. Two squads of infantry aren't going to be a match for, we've got a couple of tanks here, a couple of tanks here. So if I end up taking this guy out and this guy out, I will probably say, hey, it's a Soviet victory. It's going to be a slim one, right? Because the Soviets have been pretty much wrecked, but I'll definitely have to think hard about it. So anyway, let me do the movement and we'll see what happens next. All right, so I just conducted movement. We did have an overwatch fire. Not really much happened. So we had these two infantry squads. They moved up. This M1 tank moved back. Smart on him. And then, let's see here. So we had this group moved up. Overwatch fire from this guy. Fired at this tank. The explosive, it was a hit, but the explosive reactive armor saved it. So basically that tank, nothing happened to it. This infantry squad moved back, so the infantry are going to start moving back into town. Chopper moved out of the way of the fire from this guy and this guy. Well, this guy wasn't shooting at him. He didn't have any kind of, I don't think. Actually, they do. They can shoot, but the chopper moved behind the trees, and he's at nap of the earth, which means he's like hovering low to the ground or flying low to the ground, so the trees are higher. So he's basically hiding behind those trees so he can do a little suppression recovery. I think, okay, you can't see that. So that infantry moved back, kind of making the last stand in the town. So yeah, this is crazy. I cannot believe what's happening. So we just need to, this guy's in dire straits right here because he's got this group of tanks here and he's got this group of tanks here. He probably would have done that. So that way we're going to have more front shots. So yeah, I'll leave them like that. And that will wrap up. I mean, turns are going quick now because it's, getting down to the end here. So it could be infantry might save the day in the town. Who knows? So that's it. Turn 13 is over.